Hi, I'm Jonathan Mansfield, and I wanted to discuss the topics that I thought were interesting and I wanted to do, and to review some of the things that I had learned in the in the instructional links that we watched. One of the things I noticed was that it's very important to wear something nice so that people don't lose focus on what you're saying. If you're wearing your pajamas, for instance, people aren't going to be focusing on what you're saying. They're going to be focused on how weird you look. So it's going to completely ruin your point. And try to act like, that it's very important to give off that you are interested in what you're talking about. If you are bored or yawning or leaning up against something or have your hands in your pocket, people aren't going to want to pay attention to you, and they're also going to subconsciously be tired as well if you look tired. I noticed that visual aids are very important, and I also learned that when you're doing a visual aid, not to have a white backdrop, because it's not to have something that have a backdrop that is exciting, or a logo, something that keeps people's focus. And in watching the speeches, the three speeches, the first one was Night Terrors, and I thought the speaker had a great voice, and she was very engaging to her audience. And the first thing she said was, I remember as a child having some really intense dreams, and that's something that everybody can relate to, because dreams is something that everybody has. So the minute that she said dreams, I wanted to pay attention and keep listening. I noticed that you're not supposed to say like I'm saying, and she was well dressed. She was very confident. She was loud enough, but she wasn't too loud. She looked around the room properly. She didn't lean up against anything. And I found it very interesting and very easy to follow all the way through. The second one was about birth order effects, from the firstborn to the secondborn to the middle child to the only child. And I thought it was very interesting how the firstborn have more pressure because more is expected of them, and so in life they achieve more times than the first child, which is pampered and always thinks that whatever the problem is, the older siblings will take care of it, because that's their job, and it isn't their job. And when they get older, they're constantly looking for attention and don't feel like enough attention is being given to them, and so they usually go out and make statements and try to be a comedian or public speaking, jump out of an airplane, so to speak, to try to get people's attention and get people to notice them, because they don't feel like they have been noticed, because all the attention is on the older siblings. The speaker, was very controlled. He controlled the room very well, and he used humor to keep the audience attention. I found it very funny, and he knew exactly what he was going to say, and he used his cards in his hand, but you couldn't even really tell. Occasionally he'd glance down as if they weren't sentences that were written on the cards, they were points, words that sparked a memory, so that he could go right into what he's going to say next. The topics that I had found interesting from the list were addictions to drugs, assassinations, books, and censorship, and kangaroos. I have known people who have been addicted to drugs before, so I wanted to discuss how it affects the family. As assassinations, I've always been interested in the 60s and the people who were assassinated and how many were assassinated in the 60s, and so that was fascinating. So that stood out to me. Books and censorship. I really like books. And I remember being in high school and going to the library for lunch and seeing a list of all the books that were censored and picking one, and that happened to be Catcher in the Rye. So I went and read that and to see why it was censored. And then after reading it, couldn't believe it was censored. But really, that's what made it censored. So it's kind of some of the reasons why censorship exists is kind of ridiculous to me, but some of it is necessary. So there is a line there that is worth exploring, that has been explored, and is very controversial and could go on forever. The debate of that. And kangaroos, just because I don't think anybody's ever done kangaroos, and I would be interested in how one would go about doing that. Anyways, my name is Jonathan Mansfield, and I'm looking very forward to doing my speech on kangaroos, I think I'm going to do. And thanks for listening to me. Thank you.